Welcome back. We have 1 week of summer left, and I am preparing to finish up a bunch of projects this fall. I actually created 2 Rubbermaid totes, one with some long-term projects and one with short-term projects. And the short-term projects are looking pretty good. I just want to get some things done. One of them is, it's something I've had for a while before my grandbabies were born. But I take flannel, make a receiving blanket out of them. This one's it's too big to kind of show on screen here, but it's probably a yard by a yard. Take 2 fabrics on the front. I have this vintage looking blue square white fabric, and on the back is just blue stars. I have something called a skip wheel that I cut once they're sewed together. I cut bigger holes. You can also use a wing needle. I've used a wing needle on my Bernina before. Just depends on what I have handy at the time. Then I do a crocheted edge in there, and I finish it off with seashells. This one I think is kind of feminine, but it will be for a little boy. I just want to get it finished. Anyway, I have this one and one other one. Just a little bit nicer gift at a baby shower. A lot of people like them. It goes really fast. I do it in the evenings or whenever I'm watching a movie. Really, really quick project. I have that one and another one. And I'm just going to be finishing up a lot of projects this fall. But this week, I have 6 blocks that I finished up. I have blocks 80 through 85 done this week, and I actually have most of my paper pleaced blocks that are left done, and most of my applique blocks that are done, and they're laying over here, but you can't see those yet. I'm doing the blocks in order, and I probably have close to 10 or 15 more cut out. Brenda, one of my viewers, really urged me on. I realized that I was getting behind, and I really want to get this sew along finished. But probably next week we're going to be really close to approaching the halfway mark. So number 80 is called Anvil, and it is very, very close to number 72, which is Tomahawk. I believe, I don't know if this is up or this is up, I guess it doesn't matter. Tomahawk, the solid squares were in these corners. So anyway, this is number 82, Anvil, and I believe Anvil is the traditional name for this kind of a block. My back. I had so much fun this week because I was not under any pressure to get a certain amount of blocks done. So I really enjoyed my sewing time this week. The next one, I'm turning my book pages over here. Number 81 is called Cheerio, and I did it very similar to the pictures in the book. But if you noticed, when I fussy cut my flowers from the book, I have all the stems going inward, so that when my quilt top is finished, and I tend to do this with a lot of fabrics that are directional fabrics. Sorry, there was a disturbance out my window there. A bird flew by. When I am putting my quilt blocks together, when the quilt top is done, that way it won't matter which way this quilt square lays on your bed or your sofa or whatever you're going to do with it. It hangs it on the wall. All the flowers would be going the right direction. The just something that a lot of people have to have, like if there's horses, want them all going the same direction so that they all look the same. But if you think about it, when that quilt is on your bed and the horses are all going the same way, or the trees or whatever you are working with, it tends to wear the top of that quilt out faster. So I make mine unidirectional, maybe is the word I want to use, so that it can lay any which way and you won't have a problem with the horses or the trees or whatever you're working with being upside down. Number 82, I know I say this about all the blocks, but number 82 I think is my favorite. 82 is called Migration. Here's my back. This block was so much fun. I love traditional. I think I've said that a lot. But this block to me was very traditional in that, yes, it's flying geese. It's a flying geese pattern, but it's kind of out of sorts. It's not your traditional flying geese block. And I love the blues. I love the blue fabrics. This kind of a scrappy blue. The background is a cream with a little bit of blues and reds in it, but I absolutely loved doing this block. I love looking at this block. I might make a small quilt or a table runner or something just out of this block because I like it so much. Number 83 is called 4 Rectangles. Again, I had a good time. I just had a really good time this week sewing. It's my back. My seams are ironed open. 4 rectangles, really easy, fun block if you want to work with a little bit bigger pieces. 84, lanterns. Let me get this thread off of here. I kind of stayed true to what the picture is in the book. Enjoyed making this block. Again, you're probably going to get sick of hearing me say that now as we get going again. I love all these blocks. The last one, Red Cross, I did totally different. I went different colors, and I'm trying to get a little bit more cheddar in my quilt. So instead of a red and white quilt block, this one is brown and cheddar, and really easy block, fun to go together. I think we're coming up on an area now where there's a whole bunch of either applique or paper piece blocks coming up. That's why I decided to go ahead and get those all done. So what I have left are just basically the template, or excuse me, the rotary cut pieces and blocks to put together. But this week it was so much fun. In fact, I'll show you the backs of my other two really fast. Okay, in closing, I've been also doing some reading. I have a lot of downtime right now in my life, just the way my life is structured, and I am learning a new skill, job related, but I do have a lot of downtime, and I got this book. I had my eye on this book for quite some time, but the library ordered it per my suggestion, my local library here, and I got it. It's called The Farmer's Son by John Connell, and the subtitle here says Calving Season on a Family Farm. And while I got to do a little bit of night calving this last winter, this is a story. It takes place in Ireland. It's not a story, it's real, it's a memoir. This young man is coming out of depression, but there's a section in here called, I want to say it's called Smoking. And yes, it is. It's called Smoking. And he talks about how he gets scared from coughing one morning because he's coughing up blood and it scares him to death. And so he quits smoking. But then he also, because he's coming out of a bout of depression and trying to work through it, working with his father on the family farm, he mentions in here when he takes a little trip back to Dublin, how all his friends are glued to their phones and the social media and their Twitter and their Instagram and whatever all else that they have that they socialize with in social media. But I wanted to read just this one section. Sometimes when I go to Dublin to visit friends, our conversation revolves around our phones. They look every few seconds at their Messenger or Snapchat and Twitter. I do not blame them for this, though I once did the very same. It irks me now. But I do not say anything, for I know enough of the rules of cities to know that this would be rude. And so I accept this distraction as their way of life, as they accept mine, because he's been in the city life for almost a decade, and now he's back on the family farm that's 2 or 3 hours away from Dublin. I have become, in a way, exotic to them. A farmer, a writer, a man living a different kind of life. All I do now is work out and farm, and they might wonder what sort of life this is. To me, it is a lovely one. That struck a chord with me because I tend not to be too social. I create my own activity. I create my own happiness. I create my own, I spend a lot of time doing my own hobbies and my own work. But that really struck me because my children, whenever we're together as a family, they're on their phones all the time. Not necessarily communicating with anybody that's in the room, they're communicating with those that are not in the room. And we've worked on that a little bit, and they are getting better. But I think in this day and age, when we're in the presence of somebody, it is very courteous, very kind. It shows wonderful manners and proper etiquette if you stay off your phone. So have a good week sewing. Enjoy the quiet time. If you have quiet time while you're sewing, enjoy it. And try staying off your phone for a little while.